Good morning. Jim Jans, President of the Community Coalition on High-Speed Rail from the Bay Area. I'm here with a number of our supporters. I want to thank you for the first time in this business plan we see a benefit cost analysis. I appreciate the fact that you did that. I used to prepare benefit cost analyses as an engineer for the City of Los Angeles many years ago, and I know the things that can be done with them. I see, interestingly, you see a positive benefit cost ratio of 1.57 to 1.78 for the entire Phase 1. That analysis reflects the capital, operating, and maintenance costs. What it misses and doesn't include in the costs are the decrease in values of land for homes, businesses, farms throughout the state, the businesses and jobs that are lost because of the money spent on this project or because of the construction impact of the project, and the environmental costs of the construction. Finally, there's no comparison to the benefit cost ratios of the alternative transportation alternatives, which are mentioned in the report but not analyzed. I think you need to go back to the drawing board again. Thank you.
And Mr. Patton, I see that you wish to comment on item number 4, and we also have, you've actually followed our request, and you've written us a letter, and believe it or not, I know this will be a surprise to some members of the audience, we're literate, and we've read your letter.
Well, I'm glad you have, and
go ahead
and see what you do with it on item 4, I'll be delighted, I'm sure.
So go ahead and use this time to comment fully on whatever matters you'd like to comment upon.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman and members. I'm very pleased to be speaking to the authority, but I hope I am also speaking through the authority, because as you well understand, the authority, the final decision-making on this proposed project is not with you, but is with the legislature and the governor. And I hope you and the legislature and the governor will pay attention to these points. First, this plan is heading for failure. It is a fiscal and an environmental disaster. Second, one of the key problems is the route that you were selected to follow was based on political sort of gathering of political forces some time ago. You need to go back and reevaluate it and do it right for high-speed rail purposes if you want to have a high-speed rail project. Third, one of the key problems, and it's really what's driving this, it seems to me, is that you have built and founded this project on a 100-year infrastructure project on stimulus funds that have to be starting the shovels going by next year. That isn't the right kind of funding source if you want to take the time to do it right. I hope that you will let the governor know it's time for him to get on the phone personally to President Obama and tell him, look, Mr. President, you and I want to have a big idea. We think it's a great big idea, but we've got to do it right or the whole idea is going to fail here in California and throughout the nation. We need to not drive a stupid project through the middle of functional Central Valley farms as our first step towards the future.
Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Charles Volz. I'm affiliated with the Community Coalition on High-Speed Rail. I first want to point out that there is a gigantic gamble that lies at the heart of the new business plan, and that concerns the lack of available or identifiable funding for what's called the initial operating segment. That's the part that would extend from the initial Central Valley project to either San Jose or to San Fernando Valley. There is nothing more in fancy language than a hope and a prayer how that money might be achieved. It ranges in something like $25 to $30 billion. It is absolutely critical. If that money is not available, this project will die on the vine and we'll be left with something that will approach the notorious train to nowhere. In effect, you're rolling the dice with public funds. You're betting on the come. That's dangerous in Las Vegas. It's even worse as a matter of taxpayer money. It's not responsible public policy. Finally, I would say that this is a new plan that is not what the voters approved. If the same laws applied to this board that apply to most businesses, this would be the biggest bait and switch in California history. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Volz.
Hello, Betsy McGinn.
board member, Community Coalition on High-Speed Rail. Nice to address you and see you today. I am not here on behalf of the Community Coalition, though. I'm here on behalf of 3 Southern California groups that could not be here: the Rancho Bernardo Community Council, the San Pasqual Lake Hodges Planning Group, and the Rancho Bernardo Community Planning Board, who oppose this project for the same fiscal, environmental, and feasibility reasons that so many of us do in this room. I'm doing this because I want to make sure that you know that, as we've been characterized in the past as a handful of NIMBYs from the peninsula, we are among many friends now. I've been addressing this board as a rotten apple for longer than many of you have been on this board. So we are here, and we're here to stay to make sure this project is either done right or not at all. Yesterday, I was reading on the Capitol Alert that we are on track for another $2.5 billion budget cut for the state, which will affect education and social services. So I want to ask you, which one of you will be the ones to tell teachers that their jobs are less important than construction? Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. McGinn.
Hello, I'm Kathy Hamilton. I'm also a board member of CCHSR in the Bay Area. Nadia Nyack stole my thunder. But I agree with everything she said, but I'll address something else then, since there's so much to choose from. In the 2008 business plan, the cost was $33.6. The dollars were coming from, of course, the state, $9 billion, 12 to 16 from federal funds, 6.5 to 7.5 private investors, and 2.3 from local entities. If you look at those ratios, and I also read part of the business plan, and they said that private investment would be about 20%, and we certainly have a stop on the $9 billion, so there's no increase in that. So if I took the ratios, it would come up that the feds would have to give us $62 billion and $9 billion from the state, private investors $19.7, and local $7.5. These numbers are unrealistic. Even though you say in your plan, the new plan, that governments can contribute many times up to 80%, the country has no stomach for this type of spending today, and I ask you not to go forward with this. Press the pause button and look at it before you ruin lives of people on something that is not necessary in the state today.
Thank you, ma'am.